If you like your hair like you like your women, thick, you're gonna love today's video. I'm kidding. Can I say that? What's up, gentlemen? So if you're interested in having thicker, sexier hair, you are gonna love today's video, because I'm gonna share with you some of my favorite tips, tricks, and hacks in order to actually make your hair thicker, fuller, and sexier. The first tip I'd like to share with you is eat healthy and drink a lot of water, right? I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this, but what you consume has a dramatic impact on how thick and healthy your hair is. In order to have thick, sexy, strong hair, you gotta eat a lot of protein, you gotta eat a lot of the good fat, you gotta not eat a lot of shit food, right? You've also gotta make sure that you're drinking enough water, right? If you're dehydrated, your hair is not gonna look healthy or shiny. All right, the next thing I just need to mention, all right, we're gonna get in the shower and we're gonna shampoo in a second, but the one thing you got to avoid is parabens and sulfites. You got to make sure that you upgrade the quality of the hair products you're using, all right? If you're using a lot of cheap products that are packed with sulfites and parabens, they've got waxes and things that just aren't good or healthy for your hair. The next thing and tip I'd like to give you is don't shampoo every single day. You don't need to, right? Overly shampooing your hair, gentlemen, is something that could potentially damage it, but it also is going to strip your hair of a lot of the essential nutrients and oils that is going to keep it healthy, thick, and sexy. If you're looking to maximize your hair shaft thickness, what I would recommend is use some type of volumizing shampoo, all right? What you're gonna find in a volumizing shampoo, it actually has biotin, not to mention rice protein, that basically goes in and adds thickness and weightless volume to the hair shaft. The next tip for thicker, sexier hair, gentlemen, is condition that hair. All right, every single one of you, after you shampoo, should be putting on a conditioner. You don't need a ton, all right? The way that I use mine is I'll actually put it on, I'll chill out, I'll wash the rest of my body, and then I'll rinse it out. The whole idea behind a conditioner is not only is it gonna help strengthen your hair, it's gonna help nourish it, but also smooth the hair cuticle so that it's stronger. But the other cool thing is that nowadays they actually are selling thickening shampoos that are packed with biotin. And so if you're looking to have thick, voluminous hair, guys, you want to make sure you're using a volumizing shampoo and a thickening conditioner. Next tip, gentlemen, to have thicker, sexier, more luscious hair is a pre-styler. More specifically, a sea salt spray, right? After the shower, a few squirts. Sea salt is amazing. It's gonna add that thickness and allow your hair to have more volume, right? Use it as a pre-styler. Now, in terms of styling products, what I recommend is go with things that are lighter as opposed to heavier. And what I mean by that is if you're using some type of like heavy pomade or something that's a little bit oily or greasy, it's gonna clump your hair together and make it a little bit thinner looking. Instead, what I recommend is go with a hair clay or some type of matte product like a putty, all right? I'm gonna actually show you now how I'm gonna apply it, all right? You gotta make sure you are emulsifying it and getting it down to the root. Remember, it's all about creating thickness. And so one of the ways that you do that is by covering the entire hair shaft and follicle with the product, all right? Then you gotta blow dry, all right? Which is actually the next step. And the next tip, if you are looking to have thick, amazing, luscious hair, you gotta dry it. If you're just gonna air dry or if you're just gonna like let it do its thing, it's gonna be flat, it's gonna be lifeless. A hair dryer is gonna boost it up, it's gonna fluff it up, and it's gonna make it look so much better. The hair dryer that I'm gonna be using today is from Lafen, and this bad boy is the SE Lite. It is new, it is just dropped, and it is affordable as the quickest, easiest things you can do to have better hair, gentlemen, thicker hair, healthier hair, and sexier locks is upgrade the quality of your hair dryer. If you're using an old school, like cheap hair dryer, it's gonna burn and damage your hair. It's also gonna burn and damage your scalp. It's gonna dry out your hair. It's terrible. The problem with premium hair dryers is the price. Like the Dyson is like $450. Well, enter the Lafen Swift. Lafen Swift is the best hair dryer on the market, right? But Lafen was like, you know what? We want to do a little better. We want to make an amazingly premium, sexy hair dryer at a fraction of the price of the Lafen Swift. Gentlemen, enter the SE Lite. This bad boy is sexy, it is fast, it is effective, it is high tech, and it is also crazy affordable. Gentlemen, I'm going to link to this bad boy down below. It just dropped, and it is insane. You've got different settings, different speeds, right? You notice when I click the button, the color changes, exactly. Hold it down, right? A few seconds and boom, it's actually gonna rotate through the different temperatures. It is super high tech. Now, little pro tip, if you wanna increase the volume and the thickness of your hair, blow dry against the grain, all right? If you wanna make it stand up a little bit more, blow dry it upside down, right? You can also, look, twist the nozzle in order to get a different angle, which is going to in turn make your hair a lot thicker, a lot more volume. The amount of technology that is built into this hair dryer is insane. And for the price, that's the thing about the SE Lite. Guys, the price right now is ridiculous. These bad boys just dropped. I don't think they're gonna have them in stock long because the price, like I said, the price is insane. Guys, if you're looking to upgrade the quality of the hair dryer, now is the time. Grab the SE Lite. It is an amazing product for the price that I mentioned, the price. Hit the link down below to check it out. This is a beast. The next tip is texturizing powder, right? Texture powder is the latest, greatest styling product out there on the market, all right? It's gonna add volume, it's gonna add texture, and it's gonna make your hair look like, literally like twice as thick without weighting it down, and that's the whole thing. It's a lightweight product. Now, a poor man's version to texture powder is actually baby powder. A little bit of talc powder in your hair is kind of like the poor man's version of a texturizing powder. It's also sort of an alternative to like a dry shampoo, which is also another popular product. It's basically going to absorb a lot of the wetness of the oil from product, but it's also going to add a little bit of weightless volume and texture. Personally, I don't like baby powder because it's not super good for you, and so a little bit of texture powder, right, in your hair, work it in, the volume, the texture, the thickness, ridiculous. The next tip to have thicker hair, gentlemen, is to get a better haircut, all right? Certain haircuts and styles look thicker than others, all right? One of the pro tips I'd like to give you is go to a stylist that has the ability or knows how to give hair texture, whether or not it's through a razor cut, using a razor to actually add different textures and lengths, or thinning shears. There are a lot of different ways to add texture to your hair, but when you do this, it's automatically gonna make your hair look thicker. Long hair or straight hair or hair that is all one length typically is going to look a little bit thinner because it's gonna get weighted down. But by having somebody go in and create different lengths, different textures, it's actually gonna add a little bit of volume, right? And then by utilizing a good styling technique or picking the proper style, like some type of French crop or a modified quiff, you can actually make your hair look a lot thicker than it actually is. Brings me to the next trick, and that is make your hair darker, all right? If you're somebody that has thin hair or thin looking hair, by making it darker in terms of a few shades darker or covering gray, that is actually gonna make your hair look thicker, right? If you're somebody that is a little bit more mature and that gray is starting to come in, when you start to get like gray roots, it's gonna make your hair and your part look thinner. And so by coloring it, it's actually gonna add visual bulk and thickness, not to mention depth to your hair. All right, something else that will help if you're somebody that is really self-conscious about like a bald spot is the thickening fibers, those hair fibers, all right? They work and they're crazy. I've tested them and they work great. The hair thickening fibers work the best for guys that have like a thin area or a part that's a little bit thin. By sprinkling it on, it is definitely gonna make your hair look a lot thicker. The downside, it's temporary. It also will rub off sometimes. And if you're somebody that is real active and you sweat, it will definitely run. Which brings me to the next tip and trick to have thicker hair, and that is a hair transplant, all right? We talk a lot about it because I went and actually saw a process get done. If you are somebody that is going to have a hair transplant, you definitely need to do your research. I would also recommend doing the FUE or follicular unit extraction as opposed to like the strip method because it's gonna look a lot more natural. But the earlier you catch it and the sooner you go in to actually have some type of procedure done, the more natural it's gonna look. They're basically gonna extract it from the back of your hair, and then they're going to very naturally create a new hairline. And typically, what's gonna work best with this is if it's combined with some type of Propecia or finasteride and Rogaine or minoxidil, right? The combination typically is gonna work best because the hairs that get transplanted, they're never falling out. They are genetically designed to never fall out. But the idea is that you want to make sure that you keep the rest of the hair that you actually have. And that's where the drugs actually will come into the equation to prevent future hair loss from happening. Last, but certainly not least, make sure to take your vitamins. More specifically, Biotin, if you are somebody that wants thick, strong hair, biotin is the #1 micronutrient that you can consume on a regular basis that's going to facilitate stronger, healthier hair. You can also supplement it with a hair multivitamin. There are a lot more than just biotin in terms of nutrients that are going to facilitate healthy hair, right? A, D, zinc. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Certain vitamins out there on the market are specifically designed to help your hair be stronger, thicker, and sexier.